Hey guys, so it looks like there were quite a lot of you that had a question about number 11 from page 697. And so I just wanted to go over it with you. I'm hoping after you get a chance to watch the video and watch me do it, that it will help a little bit, okay? So with number 11, you are supposed to find all six trig functions, okay? All six of them. But you can't do that until you have the lengths of all of the sides. And right now we're missing one, okay? And so you're going to have to go do Pythagorean theorem to find the length of this missing side. So I don't know if you remember Pythagorean theorem, right? But it goes a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so the two legs are a and b, and this side is c. So we're going to go do 2 squared plus, I don't know, squared, right, equals 2 times the square root of 10 squared, okay? So I know this is a 4, and then this, I'm not entirely sure what that is. So I'm actually going to kind of do this over here on the side, just to give myself an idea, right? So when you square something, remember you're multiplying that thing times itself twice. So I'm just going to write it down twice. It might help me figure this out a little bit easier, okay? So 2 times 2 is 4. Root 10 times root 10 is the square root of 100, which is 10. And so 4 times 10 makes 40. Okay, so I'm just going to substitute a 40 in right there. All right, and then when I subtract, I end up with x squared equal to 36. And when I square root that, I get a 6. So I know that the length of this side right here is 6. Okay, so now I can go ahead and start finding all 6 trig functions. Okay, so let's go through them. So sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, and so from my angle, I'm looking for the opposite, which is 6, over the hypotenuse, which is 2 root 10. And then I'm just going to simplify this. And this is the other thing that I think has been giving some people some problems. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. So this is 3 divided by root 10. Keep in mind, you're not allowed to have a radical in that denominator. You have to get rid of it. So you're going to multiply by root 10 over root 10. So you're kind of reviewing a whole lot when you're going through these problems, which is part of the reason why we did it again today. Okay, so you're going to end up with 3 root 10. The square root of 10 times the square root of 10 is the square root of 100, which is 10. Okay, so the sine of this angle ends up being 3 root 10 over 10. Okay, let's go do the cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent to this is 2. And the hypotenuse is still 2 radical 10. So I'm going to cancel out my 2. So now I have 1 over radical 10. And again, you can't have a radical in the denominator. You have to rationalize it. So we're going to multiply by root 10 over root 10. So 1 times root 10 is the square root of 10. And then root 10 times root 10 is just 10. Okay. The tangent of that angle, SOHCAHTOA, right, is going to be opposite over adjacent. And so opposite of this angle is the 6, and adjacent is the 2. So 6 divided by 2 makes 3. By the way, when I checked your papers, those were the only 3 ratios that I checked, was sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, when you go to do the other 3, right, so cosecant is the one that goes with sine. So cosecant of theta is just going to be this fraction flipped upside down. Because I don't want to have to rationalize the denominator again, I'm actually going to jump all the way back over here where I reduced it. I reduced it, remember, to a 3 over root 10, and then I did a bunch of stuff to simplify it, which doesn't look simpler, but that's what it means in math, to simplify it, to get rid of this. So I'm just going to take this and flip it over. So this should be root 10 over 3, because it's just the reciprocal, right? The secant of that angle is going to be the cosine flipped upside down. This is my cosine, but again, I'm going to back up a couple of steps because I just don't want to have to waste the time to rationalize this denominator again, okay? And so I end up getting, this was a 1 over root 10, so this becomes root 10 over 1, or just root 10. And then the cotangent is going to be the tangent upside down. And so the opposite or the inverse, reciprocal, however you want to word it, of 3 is going to be 1/3. So I hope this kind of helps you a little bit with number 11. Let me know if you have any other questions, okay?